Listen.
Carl takes a big, shuddery breath, blowing it out loudly.
I was really, really messed up earlier. I wasn't thinking right. You know, accusing people of murder. That's like an afternoon thing, not a morning thing. God.
Yeah, TJ continues to watch Carl silently. His ears are up, at least. Carl stutters and stumbles over a few more syllables before he continues.
And like I wasn't thinking straight. To be fair, Flynn had just left, so thinking straight was like not on the table.
He scuffs the hardwood floor loudly with a hoof.
And I don't think you did anything like that. I was just pissed off because Mike Gila told me to be. And I do whatever he tells me.
TJ is quiet for a few more seconds, but Carl doesn't offer anything more.
So, why were you angry?
Carl sighs, then leans his head back against the door, his horns knocking loudly against it.
You said some shit that I'm askered about, okay? It wasn't your fault. I mean, you only brought up like my greatest trauma. I mean, come on, TJ.
TJ folds his arms, looking down.
Well, what was it I said?
Carl shakes his head.
Stupid shit, like, I mean, stupid because of me, stuff about school and crashing my car and brought up old stuff for me.
Oh.
But I don't think you ever did anything like I said, so I was just being a huge dick, which Flynn likes, but apparently that was not good in that situation. Sorry.
His voice breaks a little at the end as he quickly looks at the door, his ears down. TJ is again quiet. I think about changing the subject now that the apology is out of the way, but TJ speaks first.
Thanks, Carl. And I'm sorry I brought stuff up like that. I'll try to remember in the future.
Carl shakes his head, looking back up.
Not your fault.
We stand there awkwardly for a few more seconds. Again.
I guess I thought maybe Flynn had been saying stuff to you. That was why you said it.
Huh? Oh, he's not my secret boyfriend. Get up, TJ.
Carl's non-denial hangs heavy in the air. I haven't seen Flynn in days, and I'm wondering what he's been up to in that time. I'll have to ask Carl when TJ isn't around. As of now, though, I want to change the subject because things are getting a little awkward.
So, TJ and I had a idea about the scavenger hunt thing.
Carl looks at me as if just now realizing that I'm there.
Scavenger hunt? What? What are those?
Oh, yeah, the scavenger hunt.
The treasure hunt. TJ scratches his arm, looking embarrassed.
Sydney's treasure hunt? I doubt he left it all in one piece. I mean, who would write a show about that?
TJ scratches harder at his arm, looking more and more flustered, so I jump in.
Yeah, we were thinking about actually doing it to maybe find some closure, you know. I mean, find all the pieces of Gold Rogers, you know, with the poneglyphs, you know, why not?
Carl frowns.
Really? Because that show would take like 30 years to write.
TJ stops scratching at his arm, his ears coming back up.
Yeah, Yeah, I believe things happen for a reason. That you found it now while we're all here means something, I think.
Man, I mean, it's really old. Do you think any of the stuff would be there right now? Like by magic?
Maybe, but I guess I'm not really looking to find anything. It's like a thing we can do while we remember him.
I think it's a good way to find closure, especially if we find nothing and everyone stops asking questions about Sydney's death.
I tried to back TJ up under Carl's somewhat bewildered stare. The ram strokes his chin.
I guess that sort of makes sense. I mean, if you're okay with doing it, like, I mean, you want to do it, Chase?
TJ
I got spare rooms up here.
TJ squares his stance, looking up.
I am. It's been so long feeling this way. I feel like this might be our last chance to do something.
Carl looks over at me. I nod, indicating that I feel the same way. I don't fully understand this new direction that TJ either, but I sure as hell supported him.
Well, okay then. I'll go grab it. You want to just open it now?
Let's go to the motel or something. With Jenna there too.
So, yeah.
Carl finally shuts the door before making his way into the stairs. TJ seems to deflate then, his shoulders hunching back in.
That wasn't so bad.
I mumbled to him once I think Carl's out of earshot.
Yeah, it was okay.
We stand there awkwardly as we wait. The whole situation is so strange. Carl comes back with a crumpled-looking white envelope in his hands. TJ eyes it, the fur standing up on the back of his neck.
So, you dudes want to drive back to the motel, or I guess we're going to hoof it? I mean, because I have hooves. Actually, we didn't drive. So, yes, hoofing it is literally what you have to do, Carl.
Carl drops his hands to his sides.
Are you freaking serious? I can't walk in this heat. I mean, I have wool and a hoodie. I'm like the worst person dressed for this heat. TJ did, and he's an Arctic animal.
I took up some of the fur on the lynx's neck to show Carl. TJ actually jumps a bit, and I quickly let go. I want to ask him what's wrong, but Carl keeps talking.
Man, I want to smell like shit when we get there, as opposed to the nice fragrance of weed, a la Jeremy, that I normally smell like.
Yeah, like what does he think? Like this scavenger hunt or this treasure hunt is just gonna not make him sweaty and smelly?
It's gonna teleport them to the Arctic or
Yeah,
something where
you
he
know.
doesn't sweat.
Well, like
Yeah.
Jenna's gonna totally look down on me if I'm smelly. I mean, it's not like we established that earlier in the route. The sun's almost gone anyway, you know. So, three dudes walking in the dark, through meth land. Great idea. Let's do that.
Yeah, to Methland. Carl smirks at me.
I sweat walking in the wintertime because, you know, I have wool. I'm a sheep. Do you guys not get this?
Yeah, no, it's almost like wearing a sweater is
Uh,
kind of stupid for him, isn't it?
Yeah. Man.
You could take a shower at our motel. Please, Carl, get naked around me. I want you more naked, Carl. Especially, you know, show off the goods to TJ so I can get him in the mood.
Carl blows his breath out loudly, frowning.
Okay, but I'm going to put on more deodorant before we go. I'm going to be considerate for once.
The walk back isn't so bad. Carl makes it out to be a lot worse than it is with all his gasping and wiping his face constantly. We stop by Jaundice's place and spray him down with gray water so he'll cool down. TJ gets a text
Make
from
sure he drinks some.
yeah, right.
To be fair, he's rich, so he gets the gray water as opposed to the black water that TJ and Chase get. So
Yeah, it's less chunky. TJ,
Hey, Carl, do you want some of Jaundice's cookies?
how about some lemonade? Also, look at this hole. TJ gets a text from Jenna to meet at the diner instead of the motel since she's going there for dinner anyway. Once we walk in, Carl lets out a gasping groan of relief that turns a few heads. Jenna looks up at us from the booth and waves us over. I wave back and start making my way over.
okay, to be fair, Carl has made this walk multiple times, both in the intro and this route. So him being a bitch about this is just well. Anyway, going to the bathroom. I gotta wait my chance because my pets. TJ, do not think I'm going to present to you.
TJ makes a sour face as he follows me to the table. Jenna scoots in so we can slide in next to her. So, what's this all about?
Carl found a treasure hunt that Sydney made. Not suspicious at all.
Jenna toys with her brows, with her brown leather purse, staring at it. Okay, like a map or something?
Letter. I can tell that just from 1,000 yards of an envelope. I can tell its contents. I'm that good.
What are you going to do with it?
Eat it.
Eat it.
Well, I'm a journalist, so I'm going to investigate. Never mind the journalism project that I'm not doing.
Tastes like Sydney.
Well,
Well, I look over at TJ, but he doesn't say anything, instead looking out the window at the sunset.
we're thinking about doing it. Come on, Jenna. You wanna do it? Come on, Jenna. Let's do it.
You're thinking about
Right now.
You're thinking about going on a treasure hunt?
No, Jenna, I said let's do it. Come on. Keep up, Jenna. Yeah?
I mean, Jenna pauses, clearly trying to choose her words carefully. I mean, would there be anything left of it at this point? It would have to be at least 11 years old by now. Jenna looks over at TJ, studying his reaction. He doesn't give her anything, though, still staring out the window. I spread my hands out on the table, instantly regretting it as I feel the grease slide under the pads.
Well, we're seeing it more of a closure kind of thing. You, as a psychology major, should understand like a grieving process is part of cognition. Like a send off. We're not really expecting to find anything, girl.
Oh,
like, come on now.
I already finished with that. What, you guys are lagging behind. I mean, jeez. TJ finally looks back at us.
He made it for us, so I feel like we should do it for him.
Jenna stares back down at her purse. I guess Flynn won't be involved?
No, silly girl. Why would we include him into, closure about his closest, dearest friend that he's clearly still deeply in love with? Why would we ever try to make him feel any better or help him in any way? He's dead to us.
And Leo?
He's going to be busy for most of the week. I don't think he'd really want to anyway. So what is Leo going to be busy with?
Why not?
The stalker guy is just gonna totally not try to stalk us in this route for reasons.
I mean, he's currently outside the
Even
window.
though he does in 4 out of 5 of the routes.
I mean, he's currently hiding out the window right now, like literally right next to them, listening to us, going.
Yeah, he's in the bushes watching his watching his otter.
His eyes watering. He's basically crying.
Yeah, his mouth watering like he's the, because he is the big bad wolf.
Yeah, yeah.
He's just like, I'm gonna huff and puff and blow that otter's house down, or at least the otter.
He's got a little like journal that he has, and he picks his finger with a needle, then writes a love letter to Chase before like turning so he can run a little.
Yeah, in blood. Yeah.
He's sideshow Leo.
Leo was going to huff and puff and blow Chase's pants off.
He's gonna eventually like fall off a dam with Chase. They're gonna be like, oh, oh.
Like, Chase, come with me down to the train tracks, Chase. This always goes so well.
Yeah.
Come on, Chase.
Yeah, what could go wrong? Oh, my legs. Now TJ looks like he's trying to choose his words carefully.
He pretends like it never happened. I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to bring it back up for him.
No one says anything else until Carl shows back up, the fur on his head and face a little wet. Carl? Jenna nods at him as he sits across from me. He reaches across the table, snatching up a menu from the metal holder at the center.
I'll pay if anybody wants something. I'm rich. Behold, that's why my name is Green.
Jenna curls a lip in disgust. But I'm starving, so I start browsing the menu as well. TJ goes back to staring out the window, and I can see his ears twitching around. So, where's this treasure hunt thing? Carl looks up and sees Jenna staring at him.
I have it. I almost forgot. Anyway, this thing that we're all doing. I'm gonna order real quick though, if Chase is ready. Because the two of you clearly don't eat food. Look at how skinny you are.
I nod, and Carl waves his menu at Jaundice, who quickly bustles over our way with a tray of glasses of water. She's wearing pants now, but there's still definitely something off about her. Her eyes are wide, her smile more like a grimace as she sets down our glasses and straws. She takes our orders well enough, though, and Jenna waits patiently as Carl and I order a meal and TJ gets a smoothie. Carl methodically tears off one end of the wrapper of his straw before he blows the other end, shooting the rest of the wrapper at me. I flinch and try to catch it, failing as it falls to the floor. Jenna clears her throat loudly. So, where is it? Carl looks at her, the straw still in his mouth.
Right.
Carl reaches into his pocket and pulls out the envelope. He pushes it onto the table, face up. There's writing in black marker on the front. Treasure hunt number 7.
Lucky number 7.
I know. We all stare at it. We all stare at treasure hunt number 7.
Should we read it or just stare at the envelope? I mean, reading it would be weird and stuff, you guys. Now that we're all here to look at it.
Carl sets a hand down on treasure. Carl sets a hand down on the letter.
Or something else, maybe we could play spin the bottle. Jenna, you're the wild card.
They just burned the letter. Their closure. Carl's eyes.
Honestly, that would be healthier for him.
Probably. Carl's eyes briefly flick over to TJ, then quickly look back down at the letter. TJ's hand comes up, then surreptitiously. Scratches at an ear before letting it fall back into his lap. It does seem
Well, stereotypically California.
serendipitously.
Dang it, I can't remember the. Yeah, I can't remember the rest of the word. Dang it.
It does.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
It does seem appropriate that TJ open it, but if he doesn't want to. Carl looks just as hesitant, so I finally reach out and gently slide it out from under his hand.
I can read it. I'm an otter. I'm good at that. I can read other otters' handwriting.
Yeah, me read good.
Why out the hot the food when in cold food?
I give you what is his name again? Chase. I give you the Chase Center for kids who can't read good.
What is this, a center for ants?
No one objects, so I open it carefully, not wanting to rip anything as I pry the adhesive apart. A chill goes up my spine for some reason. A strange, surreal vision comes to my mind's eye of inky blackness leaking out of the envelope, spilling across the table. I can feel it, too, like a cold draft is wafting from inside. Wafting.
Yeah, it's like a ghost wrote this or something.
Yeah.
Weird.
I pause, feeling an emptiness in my chest. What the hell? I give my head a small shake, breaking out of the trance. I guess it's only natural I feel this way. That's Sidney's handwriting on a letter sealed after he licked it. He loved making these treasure hunts. It's really sad, so it makes sense that I'd feel this sudden drop in mood. I swallow as I continue to pry it open, the feeling getting worse and worse as I do. When it's finally fully open, the feeling slowly subsides. Tension in the air seems to melt away, too, like the whole town just let out a sigh of relief. I look up for a moment at the others, wondering if they feel the same way. It's hard to tell as they're all looking intently down at my hands. I quickly look down again and stick my finger inside, feeling a piece of paper catch at the pad. Gently, I press down on it and slowly slide it out from the envelope. It's bright white copy paper, folded once in half. It's been creased so long that it's starting to part at the fold. In the middle part, so that the edges are barely holding it together. Black blotches bleed through the paper, probably written with the same ink, with the same dark marker that was used for the envelope. I gently unfold it, not wanting to rip it apart any more than it already has been. The big, blocky black letters are sloppy and childish. Few sentences, it covers the entire page. The last words trail off into a tiny, almost illegible scrawl. It drops off down the side of the paper as Sidney realized that he ran out of room at the end.
I do like that in Chase's inner monologue, he has to randomly give strays to Sidney's handwriting. No, my dead friend, no, his writing as a 10-year-old was childish. And look, he didn't even have proper spacing. His kerning of the letters was far inferior to mine.
Yes, me,
Okay,
I clear my throat and start reading aloud. Welcome to Treasure Hunt number 7. This is the biggest one so far, and it took a long time. So no cheating this time. I'm talking about you, Carl and Chase. No skipping steps. First clue. These things fly really high. It's in their home. It's in their home with my comb. Chase, you don't have to do this one. I know you hate it. You'll see if you figure it out. Good luck, guys. Sid. I feel my throat close up just a little as I stare down at his name. He always wanted to go by Sid, but never stuck, so none of us ever did. It just didn't suit him. I look back up at the others. Carl is still staring at the paper, and TJ's looking out the window again. Jenna has a hand up to her mouth, staring as well. Wow. Then she wipes at her eyes, and I look away. I guess I never really thought about how this might affect Jenna. She and Sydney never really got along because of the way he treated TJ. But still, he was just a kid, like the rest of us. Carl lets out a ragged cough.
I do like how Sydney also loads up his treasure hunts with just random strays against Chase. Like, clearly the Otter Boys just hate each other. And it's just like, no, no, no. I'm contacting you from beyond the grave with my ghost treasure hunt. But fuck you, Chase. Stray. It just like runs by and like clotheslines him just in case, just because he can.
As he's sprinting by, he just
Uh,
haymakers him.
yeah. He's like, just one last fu to Chase while he's in the grave. Oh, that whole cheating thing was totally you, Chase, not me. I'm the most innocent ram in the world. I'm not smoking anything, you guys.
I look up at Carl, raising a brow.
You're the one that totally told me to do it. Carl, get under this bus. Look, the bus is coming. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk. There you go. Good round.
Carl smirks.
And you're the one that did it. I only conspired to the crime. You did the murder, Chase. Come on.
What did you do?
TJ asks quietly from the corner, finally looking away from the window.
Well, Sydney liked to reuse certain hiding spots. I mean, there were only so many places he could use, so cheating was totally fine then. I mean, yeah, and Chase went straight to Sydney's mailbox and ruined the whole thing like a boss, which is why I love Chase. And Chase, you want to come back to my place?
I was like 8.
Oh, sorry. The thing didn't click. There it goes. I was like 8. Turns out that the last spot he got was the prize.
Carl makes finger quotes around the last word.
Yeah, and one of those plastic clapper things we used in elementary school for reading a lot. He was so mad. He's like, he thought it was going to be like the One Piece that, would unite the world and, bring the sun god back. But no, it was plastic clapper. Yeah, I know.
I remember dropping it on the ground because of how lame it was. I also remember Sydney crying, but I'm not gonna bring it up. Carl seems to have at least lightened the mood, though, and Jenna stopped wiping at her eyes. I'm starting to think TJ was right about this whole closure thing.
I know where he's talking about for this one, though. So let me just use outside knowledge to totally cheat at this one, too.
I tap the paper with a finger.
Yeah, it's the birdhouse. Like the birdhouse in your soul. You guys like remember that Let's Be Giant song? Come on, you guys, let's totally get high and listen to that.
Birdhouse? Where is that?
The forest.
DJ sits up straighter, ears up as well.
The birdhouse is on one of the trees close to the road.
Oh, well, I never went in there because of. Sorry, all this stuff that would get in my fur. TJ looks back out the window, the sun gone now, though the clouds in the sky are still tinged red.
You guys want to do it tonight?
The same wooded area where a certain trailer is, but let's not worry about that. I mean, the chances of us getting raped by a giant cocaine bear is pretty low, right? Only like 50-50,
I mean, how many,
right?
big platforms does he have? Does he have, 6 of them? 6 of them with mirrors above them for no apparent reason? No, he has them slotted so that he can just turn a crank and it just goes to the next one.
Well, let's just say there's a party version of Brian's place that we'll see in another route.
Oh.
So, anyway, really, it's getting kind of late and we still gotta eat. Like, I got the munchies. You guys see how red my eyes are? Like, this isn't for show.
Carl looks eagerly over at the front counter, though the small rectangle that leads through the small rectangle that leads to the kitchen.
We can use Chase's car. Besides, it might be kind of fun in the dark.
DJ adds the last bit meekly.
Because, when it's dark, that's when the ghosts come out, like the ghost that clearly wrote this letter and hid it in the weirdest place to find it. But anyway, hell no. I'm afraid of ghosts. I get possessed by them like all the time.
As long as you guys know where it is, it shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem. I gently fold the letter back up and start tucking it back into the envelope.
What did he mean by saying you didn't have to do that one, Chase?
I look up at TJ, then back down at the letter as I gently press the lid of the envelope closed.
The forest is only triggering for my hallucinations. It's not much. I thought I saw something and got scared that time, but that was a long time ago. At least that's what I think he's talking about, even though it happened after his death, and only a ghost could have written that.
Jenna clears her throat, seeming to have collected herself. I think I remember that. My parents told me about it. I frown.
Really? Wait, Jenna, your parents actually gave you good parental advice of hey, that child has mental illness. Maybe be, sensitive and careful around him?
I didn't
that's weirdly insightful. What?
I didn't like the idea of that.
What did you see?
I shrug.
John Begay's murder, John Begay's lynching, but, anyway, a person in the trees.
A hanging person.
Oh.
TJ shudders.
So fucking so hell fucking no going there tonight then. Sorry for the F word teach, but I say fuck all the time because I like to fuck. I'm around. I like to fuck. It's fine. I saw a whole lot of things as a kid. Certainly isn't a psychic power that is real in the Echoverse. That's totally not it.
I'm not going to tell them how I am definitely still scared of that place. Besides, TJ looks really eager to start this, so I'm not gonna ruin it for him. But really, that's not what's bothering me right now. I look down at my hands as I try to work out a timeline in my head. When was that incident happening in the forest? I thought I'd been 10 at the time, since that was when I started going to a psychiatrist. I started going because of that, but that would be impossible because...
See, look at her.
Yeah,
You don't
sure.
want to see that with no pants? Come on.
No.
What you're
I
not
really
seeing is that she's still not wearing pants. She's just covering it all up.
don't. Her small kisser pants is a dress. Here we are.
A plate with a massive burger and steak fries lands in front of my face. The big coyote sets a smoothie down for DJ and an even bigger veggie burger for Carl.
Hey, Jaundice, is Julian working today?
Jaundice smiles at TJ.
No, dear. He's only here when I'm not. He'll be in tomorrow if you can find him. Okay, thanks.
Jaundice then clutches her tray to her chest and watches us for a moment.
Listen, Chase, TJ, why don't you come by my house again when you get the chance? I need to see, how much it takes to fill up those, holes.
I need to get your measurements. So
I need to get your measurements.
And do you know where I can get some wood?
Like, I borrowed this table from Brian, just for TJ.
Mhm.
So, and a mirror too. So why don't you boys come on over? I can, get you all fixed up.
Mm-hmm. He told me that I can use my hands like this, and people like it. I look up at Jaundice and see she's got a strange look on her face, confused and worried looking.
What's wrong, Jaundice?
TJ's voice is full of concern.
Did we do something wrong? I mean, we only did exactly as you said. If something's wrong, it's all your fault.
Yeah, you disgrace.
I was just following orders, good general. I don't know.
No, you did everything wonderfully. I just want to have a talk about the way I acted the past few days. Molesting you, giving you black water cookies, and coming up to you undressed, and still not being fully dressed. Lifts up the skirt. See, it's just a whole bunch of stuff. Just need to tell you, get some things off my chest.
Especially the shirt.
And Brian asked me to try to sell this sugar cane. That's what it is, sugar cane.
Jaundice lets
Well,
out
it's a cane of some kind, he didn't tell me which variety of cane it is, but whether it was the cocaine or the sugar cane, I don't know.
I think he called it some, chalk cane or something like that. Jaundice lets out an exasperated sounding laugh.
Not really sure. It could be cocaine. Something like that. I think it's something said. Anyways, it goes into soft drinks early in the centuries. Anyways, not really sure. I'm just now realizing how strange it all was.
She glances.
I also need to... Go ahead.
She glances at Carl.
Can I just say something real quick?
No!
It's super weird that somehow them opening an envelope has cured her of her highness. Like, she's no longer tripping out on drugs because they opened an envelope. Like, instantly, like that minute.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, oh, no, I'm sober now. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But we can talk about it later in person. Enjoy dinner. And just just so you know, there's none of that extra, sugar cane, cocaine, powder in any of this.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta
Maybe
pay
in the
extra.
smoothie.
She bustles off, tray still held against her body. Carl watches her go, stuffing a few fries into his mouth.
I could totally go for that.
Okay, Carl, go have at it.
Like, why didn't she invite me over for yard work? I would have totally, seen her palace and been like, oh, Janice, please let me in for the Blackwater cookies. Ooh, what's this table? I guess I'll lay on it. Ooh.
Ooh, there are handcuffs. Let me just
What
put them
was
around
that
my own
about?
wrists.
Brown.
She's like, let me get my fetlock right locked in here. Oh, Janice. Anyway, what was that about, you guys? Don't ask Carl.
The way Jaundice had looked at Carl makes me think she doesn't want him knowing about what had happened.
I think she feels bad for making us work so much, digging that grave. That normal thing that, you get the normal neighbor kids to do all the time.
I look over meaningfully at TJ.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
TJ quickly starts sucking on his straw. Well, she should. Jenna's sitting back in the booth, having taken out her brush, and started grooming the fur on her face and head. I inconspicuously slide my plate a little further away from her. So you don't get her fur in it.
Yeah, you don't want Jenna's fur in your
Mhm.
food. Dang,
Oh,
girl,
come
went to the
on,
bathroom.
Chase. You clearly worship the ground she walks on. You want all of that in your mouth.
It's
We
funny.
know
It's
how
like you
Chase
say that.
rolls.
It's funny you say that because I'm doing Jenna's route, and he totally I try to make it sound like he's just dreamily staring at her. We starts describing her and how pretty she is, and he's just kind of almost like he's blinking slowly and smiling, almost drifting off.
Oh yeah, no. He immediately, once he gets buy mode unlocked, he immediately becomes a simp.
Yeah, he's totally just
There's no
oh
stand. He
yeah.
is no stand. He immediately goes simp mode and it's just like, oh, I'm just going to be led around by the wrist through the mall. All right, everybody. Oh no, here's my evil ex, Jenna, save me. Well, anyway, once we finish, we could go to my car and head to the forest. The spooky forest full of dead ghosts. Let's go.
As I lift my burger and take a bite, I look over at the counter and I see Jaundice leaning over her notepad. Her shoulders are shaking, and it takes me a moment to realize that she's crying. The forest is really just a patch of trees in the side of the road near Leah's house. While it's technically small, it still covers several acres, which is enough to get lost in.
If only we had a raccoon to show us a water pump around
Can,
here.
can,
That would really help.
so that does raise a question. So, I know that humans favor one leg when they walk. So if you don't have any, thing to get your bearings on, you kind of just walk around in big circles in the forest.
Oh
And,
yeah, I saw a MythBusters about that where they
yeah,
literally tested it, and you see both Jamie and Adam just drift randomly,
yeah.
in completely the wrong direction because they're just trying to go straight, and it's just like, nope, can't do it.
Yeah, so it raises the question, is that circle small enough to actually fit in this? I don't think so, but maybe. Anyway, the sky is a soft blue now, just enough light to see by. It won't be long before that won't be the case, though. I pull off to the side of the road in a spot where I think the birdhouse might be. It's been well over a decade since the last time I've seen it. It's probably where the treasure hunt is going to end, considering the time that's passed. The birdhouse probably isn't even there anymore. We all step out of the car into the warm evening air. Carl folds his arms on the hood of the car and grins at me.
Even the sun's gone. It's roasting. See, even with the sun gone, it's roasting. At least you could drive me home now. Like I'm going to be a whiny ram until my Gila gets here to give me the medicine that I need, which is his dick.
Not even
Yeah.
subtle about it.
Not even subtle.
She's just like, yeah, no, I understand that. Leo had to give me his medicine.
I look over at Leo's house, but his truck is gone. TJ catches my glance.
We might tell him what's going on if we find something, and you want him to join us.
TJ picks at his claws.
It's all right. I mean, even though Leo drives a van, as we firmly established in every other route, but I guess his truck's gone, so, I guess no Leo fun tonight.
I give him a quick side hug as we step up to the edge of the trees. I can see why TJ doesn't want to tell Leo about this. He was right about Leo pretending it didn't happen. I can't imagine it would go well if we told him about dredging up old Sydney's scavenger hunts. So, where is it? Jenna looks into the empty ditch between us and the forest, wrinkling her nose at the old scraps of garbage inside.
Well,
Carl looks up and down the tree line, squinting.
it looks like different now, but then again, I'm like super high, so like everything seems different. Who's this gay otter I don't know that I'm talking to? But I think it's about here, like only like 10 feet in. By feet, I mean yards or miles or decameters.
Carl looks at me.
That sounds about right. I mean, 10 decameters, we as Americans use that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We can fan out and check all the trees that close to the road.
TJ jumps across the ditch lightly, much more lightly than the clumsy hop I execute right after. I land unevenly on the opposite incline and windmill my arms as I lean back. Carl starts laughing before I even fall, but TJ reaches out and grabs me by the shirt, yanking me back up from the ditch. I fall into him awkwardly and quickly step back, brushing myself off even though there isn't anything on me.
Are you okay?
I'm fine, thanks.
I glance over at Carl, who's still laughing.
Yeah, did you even try, man? I'm still high.
He leaps over easily, clearing the ditch along with a few more feet.
Okay, when Carl can now jump you, you've gone wrong somewhere in some kind of life choice.
Right.
Oh yeah, Carl. How well can you swim?
I mean, that's almost as bad as losing to a cow that can jump over the moon. I mean, really. Anyway, that's not fair. I'm an otter. Otters can't jump. We've all seen that movie of where otter guys try to play basketball, and then everybody whoops all our asses, and then we're like, oh,
Don't let that hold you back.
don't let that hold you back from the dreams. Because I got all the dreams.
Jenna elects to delicately step around the garbage before climbing up the other side.
It's okay. You can swim better than any of us, Chase.
I sigh.
Thank Teach, point out my, species aptitude. Let's all just be extra racist. Hey, Carl, you want to eat some grass? Come on, Carl, you want to eat some grass?
I mean, he's smoking some grass. I turn back to the forest, which is much darker as the light struggles to filter through the branches and leaves.
Well, let's start before it gets too dark. I mean, the moon might come out somehow, maybe. I don't know how it's going to get lighter.
We spread out amongst the trees. I'm struck with how quiet it is. The only sound is the crunch of our feet on dead leaf, on the dead vegetation, and that starts to fade as the others move further away from me. I zigzag through the trees, trying to get a look at their full circumferences. From what I remember, the birdhouse was a plain old wooden thing that hardly stood out from the trunk that it was attached to. We might not see it even if we were looking right at it. Well, it's been a long time. Walking between these trees does bring back some memories. We stopped coming here after what happened to Sydney, mainly because this was his favorite place to hang out. He liked playing capture the flag here. I can still remember how fast he was, how I'd only catch glimpses of his tail between the trees before he disappeared with the flag. His team won almost every time. The summer of 2002 was the last... Yeah, I know, right? Because now we just... 2018. The summer of 2002 was the last time we played. Sydney had even been getting along with TJ then. Well, better, at least. That might have been the best summer of my life until it happened. It was almost like Echo saw us having too much fun and wanted to end it. For good. Sydney had still... The image of Sydney whipping TJ mercilessly with the towel we use as a flag comes to mind. I move closer to the edge of the tree line before slanting back in again. Looking up between the branches, I see the sky is a darker blue now. Pretty soon it'll be pitch black. It was about this light last time I was here. I'd come alone when I was 10, maybe 9. It's hard to remember now, but I think I had gone here because I was sad. I'd had good memories of the forest, so I thought going there might make me feel better. I was standing in the forest, waiting to see if I did feel better. It didn't happen, so I sat down on the leaves and started crying. I was there for maybe 5 minutes before I heard some branches creaking above me. I looked and saw feet swinging around. This confused me, so I stood up and backed away, staring up as I slowly realized I was seeing a fox being hung by its neck. Even now I can remember the way he looked, his overalls and his white shirt. His head had been tilted down towards me, his tongue lolling out of his muzzle, his eyes blank. I can even remember what looked like pinkish red blood on the white fur of his chin. Then I tripped over a branch, and when I looked back, he was gone. I can't remember much after that, except I had gone home and told my parents. That ended up with me seeing a doctor. They never found anything wrong with me, at least anything that might relate to seeing things. In the end, we were told that sometimes kids hallucinate, that it would stop happening as I got older. I hugged myself, feeling cold and a little scared now that I brought up that old memory. While I know that I was at the age where kids hallucinate most often, I still can't get out of my mind how real it had been. Still, it's not exactly what's giving me the chills right now. Because I just realized that that had been the summer after Sydney passed. That's why I was sad, because I remembered how happy the summer before that had been. So what Sydney wrote down doesn't make any sense, unless I'm going crazy. A creak behind me makes me jump, and I whirl around, scanning the branches, terrified of what I might see. But there's nothing. Just branches creaking in the wind. I stare for a while longer before a shout comes down the tree line that makes me jump.
I found it.
It's TJ's voice, high-pitched and excited. I shake myself out of my trance and start jogging towards where the lynx's voice had come from. Maybe I confused things, and I'm just remembering things incorrectly. It's the only thing that makes any sense. As I come up on the lynx, Carl and Jenna are already there, standing around the tree trunk. Sure enough, a little wooden birdhouse is tied to the trunk with rusty wires.
Okay, Chase is just like, unless I'm going crazy. Anyway, let me tell you this long story about how I hallucinated about a guy getting lynched right over here. It's like, yeah, that would be a sign of the crazy there, Chase. Hallucinating. Like, I just find it so hilarious that a doctor would say, yeah, kids just grow out of hallucinations. We don't need to, worry about, any of this. As a doctor, just kids grow out of hallucinations.
He's cuckoo.
But anyway,
He's cuckoo for Foxy Puffs.
Yep.
It's not like he's being possessed by some kind of sex worker cat ghost. That would be crazy. Anyway, he just sees, the past of,
I can't believe it's still
dead.
here.
Sorry.
It does look pretty beat up.
Jenna points to a little wooden plug in the opening. It's closed up.
I think it's been closed this whole time.
I don't know. Maybe.
TJ pokes at the plug with a claw, then grips around the edge and with all his claws before gently pulling the wooden cork-like thing out. A thick, sticky-looking trail of cobwebs follows it. We all stare into the dark hole that's revealed.
Jeez, want to reach in there? I'm sure there aren't any spiders. Jenna, get the rubber. Get the rubber one.
I shiver involuntarily.
I don't really want to either.
Jenna sighs before pushing past TJ. Bending over, she picks up a twig and sticks it into the hole before swirling it around. When she pulls it back out, it's like she's made a cotton candy cone of spider webs.
He watched Shrek. She's gonna eat it and give it to Fiona.
She drops that, then takes out her phone, turning on the flash before holding it up to the opening. Well, we all wait anxiously for her to say something. There is something here. With that, she reaches in with just her fingers. After a few crinkling sounds, she pulls out a Ziploc bag, and inside is a folded-up piece of paper with a blue comb.
Ooh,
Well, no one ever comes back here, so I guess it would make sense.
Brian doesn't like birds, so, he never messes with it. He actually put a comb in there to make it rhyme.
Jenna makes a few jerking motions away from the birdhouse to get rid of the cobwebs. She looks around, then sticks it out to me. Since you read the last one.
Okay.
I glance at TJ, but he doesn't seem to make any indication that he might want it. The bag is covered in what looks like dirt and cobwebs. A few clumps dangle from the bottom. I open it carefully, and when I pull out the paper, I can tell that it's been wet. A few times. It's a little crumpled, but when I unfold it, the water damage isn't bad enough that I can't read it.